How can all of these people read the same manuscript and come away with completely different experiences? That is what we are diagnosing today. Have you ever sent your manuscript off to beta readers and then waited for them to give you the feedback, and then you end up more confused than when you started? One reader says something like, I couldn't put it down. And another says, the pacing felt really slow. And then someone else says, I loved your main character. And then another person says, I just couldn't connect to her. And then another reader says, you need to cut chapter 3. But somebody else says that was their favorite. So who is right? Probably all of them. And I know that is not what you thought you would hear or what you wanted to hear. If you're anything like me, your first thought is probably somebody has to be wrong. You cannot all be right. You cannot all have experienced this so differently. But what if they aren't wrong? What if you've diagnosed the wrong problem? I'm Melissa Bourbon. I'm a best-selling author of more than 35 novels. Welcome back to another episode of Diagnosing the Problem, where we stop chasing symptoms and start figuring out what is actually going on. Today, we're talking about something I think a lot of writers experience, and that is, you finally get your beta reader feedback, and instead of clarity, you get a bunch of different opinions. What are you supposed to do with all of that? I've seen this over and over again with editing clients and students and writers in workshops and in my own books. Someone gets feedback from a bunch of readers, and a lot of them love the romance. A couple of people wish there had been more of it. Someone else barely mentions it. If you're like my mom, you wish there was none of it in that particular story. So naturally, the writer starts asking, okay, so whose advice am I supposed to listen to? But here's what I think. I think that's the wrong question. I think the better question is, why did they all experience the same manuscript but so differently? Here's the misdiagnosis. Most writers land in, I think, one of three places with beta readers. My beta readers just didn't get my story. They're giving me bad advice, or everybody has different opinions. And yes, people can have different tastes. That's normal. Not every book is for every reader. But when the feedback is all over the place, I think there is probably something deeper going on. And that leads me to the diagnosis of this issue. Here's what I think a lot of people miss. As writers, we're constantly pointing readers in a specific direction without ever realizing it. We're saying, pay attention to this, or this relationship really matters, or, ooh, don't forget this clue, it's going to be important later, or this decision is going to come back, so remember it. Readers don't consciously think about those things as they're reading it. They're absorbing, right? They're following the trail of breadcrumbs that we leave for them. But if that trail isn't consistent, then they are naturally going to start filling in the blanks with their own decisions about what is important, and that can lead them away from where you wanted them to go. That is when people can finish the same exact manuscript, but come away feeling like they have read completely different books. Here's an example from Harry Potter. I like this example because it really can illustrate this point well. Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone. A lot of people have different favorite characters. Some people love Hermione. Some people love Ron. Some people are really excited and fascinated by Snape or Dumbledore, and of course Harry or Hagrid. And everybody notices different things from this story. But imagine if you asked, say, 10 readers what the book was really about, and you got 10 completely different answers because they all kind of focused on different things. One person says, ooh, it's about learning magic. And somebody else says, no, it's really about friendship. And then somebody else says, it's about Snape. And then another person says, it's about Quidditch. I don't know. At that point, you probably start wondering if those readers all read the same book. But that's not what happens. People may connect with different characters or favorite scenes, but they all come away understanding the same story. They all come away knowing that it's about Harry learning where he belongs, who he can trust, what it means to be a wizard, what is really happening at Hogwarts. That's the crux of the story. And the story keeps leading us back to those things over and over and over again. So we're following the breadcrumbs and we all get it. And that's why readers can love different parts of a book, of that book, and they don't feel like they've read completely different stories because they understand the core of it. I learned this lesson the hard way with my very first published novel, Living the Vida Lola. Before it ever went to an agent or an editor, I gave the manuscript to about 10 different people. Some were friends, some were neighbors, a couple were my kids' school teachers. They were in elementary school at the time. I gave them this book and asked them to read it in about a month. And then I invited everybody over to the house and we literally sat around the kitchen table talking about the book. And this was one of the most terrifying afternoons of my writing life. Seriously. Because everybody had notes. Everybody took it very seriously. They had opinions. What really threw me was they didn't all agree. They didn't see the book as I saw the book. Some people thought it was primarily a mystery. Other people focused much more on the romance between Jack and Lola. Some people connected with Lola's family dynamics. So people responded to different parts. Other people hardly mentioned the dynamics of the family, for example. And I remember sitting there thinking, oh my God, okay, who's wrong here? Somebody has to be wrong. But then when I reflected on it, and now looking back, I realized nobody was wrong. They were telling me what story they experienced. And that is when I realized something pretty big. It was a big aha moment. I hadn't been intentional enough about guiding readers towards what I wanted them to pay attention to. I didn't leave the breadcrumbs. The mystery was there. The romance was there. The family relationships were there. It was all there on the page. I had written it all. But I wasn't necessarily showing readers which thread was driving the story and what they needed to follow and what was most important and what the crux of the story was about. So different readers naturally followed different paths throughout the very same manuscript. That experience really changed the way that I write and I revise, because when I get feedback that seems to be all over the place, I don't ask which reader is right. Instead, I ask a completely different question. I say, what in my manuscript made these readers experience such different stories? That's a very different question. That is almost always where the real revision begins. And honestly, when I look back at that, round table with Lola, I'm glad that my friends didn't agree. They weren't disagreeing. They were telling me the story they experienced, and I learned so much from that. If they had all said exactly the same thing, I would have fixed the symptom instead of discovering the real problem, and it wouldn't be the story that it is. Here's another example from The Wizard of Oz. Think about this story. Some readers remember the Cowardly Lion. Other people love the Scarecrow or the Tin Man. Some people remember the Wicked Witch more than anything else. And like the Flying Monkeys. Who doesn't remember the Flying Monkeys? But if you ask people what the story is about, you would probably get about the same answer from everybody, because ultimately, it's about Dorothy trying to find her way home. That's the core of the story. Every new character she meets and every obstacle she faces and every new adventure she goes on all keeps pointing us back to that one central journey, Dorothy trying to get home. Now, imagine if half the readers finished the story thinking it was really about defeating the Wicked Witch. That's a completely different story. While everyone else thought it was mostly about, say, the Scarecrow finding a brain. That was the core of the story. You'd probably say the story had lost its focus somewhere along the way. It stopped telling readers what really mattered. But that, of course, is not what happens in The Wizard of Oz. Different characters and adventures give readers room to connect with different moments of the story, but they still guide everyone through the same emotional experience. And I think that is a pretty easy distinction to miss. Your readers don't all have to love the same scenes. They don't all have to have the same favorite characters. They don't all have to resonate with the same people or moments or events, but they should definitely all walk away feeling like they read the same story. So why does this happen? I find this really interesting. Readers don't sit there thinking, should I care about this relationship? Is this something I'm supposed to focus on? They're making those decisions kind of subconsciously as they're reading. They are constantly asking, without even knowing they're asking, What should I pay attention to? What is changing? What matters here? Your story is answering those questions on every single page, or it should be. Whether you realize it or not, that's what needs to happen. Your story answers those questions consistently, and most readers end up having a similar experience as a result. If your story doesn't answer those questions, then that is when readers are going to start filling in the gaps, and that is when the feedback is going to start pulling you in a bunch of different directions. Your readers don't all have to love the same parts of your story. They don't, but they should all feel like they've read the same story. So the next time your beta readers disagree, don't start by asking, okay, who's right? Instead, ask what made these readers experience different versions of the same story, because usually that's where the real diagnosis is hiding. Okay, here is your homework. Think about one important thread in your manuscript. Maybe it's a relationship, or it could be the central mystery, or maybe it is your protagonist's emotional journey. Now ask yourself, if 10 people read this book, would all 10 people describe that thread in roughly the same way? Or would they tell a different story? Would they experience it differently? If everybody is telling a different version of your story, then that is probably the thing that needs your attention. And it's not because the readers are wrong. It's because your story isn't consistently telling them what matters most. I think one of the hardest parts of getting feedback is feeling like you're being pulled in a bunch of different directions. But conflicting feedback, it's truly the best clue you could have been given. It's honestly the best thing that can happen, because your beta readers are not telling you what they liked or didn't like. They're just showing you the story they experienced. And if a bunch of readers experience a story differently, then that's a problem you probably shouldn't ignore. And that is your diagnosis. Don't fix the symptom until you've diagnosed the problem. If today's video made you realize you've been fixing symptoms instead of causes, then watch this next one, because it's another problem almost every writer misdiagnoses. It might completely change the way you think about dialogue. I hope it does. I'll meet you over there.
I would rain down blessings from heaven on your shoulders, boy. I would open up those gates and let you in. I would have spoken